recording.
When he brought an air to
So as of right now, I'm recording this session, and I'm going to say first and foremost, welcome to the Irv Seaver 40 Years of GS Rally.
Yeah.
She muted me. You guys are muted at the moment, but it's going to, you guys can unmute yourself to ask a question in the Q&A section of it. But if please go and leave yourself on mute for the time being. If you do have any questions, as I mentioned earlier, please put them in the chat, and I will go through everybody's questions. So please, let's get started. Let me share my screen. And there's the magic right there. Yes, let's go start. This is a motorcycle photo scavenger hunt. It is sponsored by BMW Motorrad Corporate and Irv Seaver BMW. Let's just jump right into it. Every one of you should have received by now a list of locations via email. Looks a lot like this. And with that, you should have three primary tracks to work off of. There's street or straza, dirt, gelände, and the third one, which isn't labeled too well, but it's a dual sport, where it has both dirt and street sections, a little bit of the dirt section, a little bit of the street section mixed in, so you could do a dual sport run. That is the third option. The fourth one on there is the bonus pre-rally locations, and those you could do anytime from now up until the end of the rally. You could do them during your rally, before, after, whatever. They are completely outside. But go ahead and do it. I recommend doing it before, because that way you could test this whole process out, see how it works, and make sure you're doing everything correctly. So when you look at the sheet, I kind of want to go over what you're looking at right here. Street locations are here. I have 40 items, because it's 40 years of GS, for both the street, for the dirt, and for the dual sport. And each one of these locations has a unique location code, a 3-digit letter code. These come in very, very important, because they're what you're going to use to identify your photos when you go to submit them. There's a little description, which you've no doubt looked at, some little notes or instructions with this. You may want to have these handy if you've printed them out, because when I talk about certain specific things, you may want to jot something down, but it should be pretty common sense. The number of points each one of these things is worth, and this is a real important column, the number of times you can hit a location like this. So for example, an alpine peak, you could hit 2 different alpine peaks. You could hit the same alpine peak. It's actually okay, but it has to be at least 1 mile apart from your current location. So if you take a picture from here, you can go a mile away and take another picture, that'll count. So the next column is motorcycle in the photo. And if you notice, most of them say yes. Some of them say no, and we were trying to come up with areas where some cases you just can't get the motorcycle on there. But if you can, why not? But take a look at this. This is kind of important. Don't try to put your motorcycle in a place that it doesn't really need to be. Though, look carefully, because some of them have a bonus where you could get double the points if the motorcycle is in the photo. So take a note of that while you do it. The next 2 columns are for you to use this sheet as a score sheet while you do the rally, okay? So you're gonna tally each time you do this with a tick, okay? I recommend you circle it if you post it on Instagram, or just leave it as a tick for each time you hit one of those locations. And then finally, at the end of all this, you'll tally up your score, And then at the end of the day, add it all up here for the total points. And then that's what you'll take a picture of and submit it. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So let's go to the next frame and go over this in detail. Starting the rally. To start the rally, you come up with a time. It doesn't matter what time it is, but you start the time, you go to a gas station, you top up your gas tank and request a receipt. And that date and time stamp that'll be on that receipt is your starting time. You have 8 full hours from that to complete your rally. Okay, so what I need you to do is, first off, before you get to the gas station, is take your score sheet, the track that you're gonna do, whether it's street, dirt, or dual sport, and I want you to do on this thing, I want you to write your name and your rally number on this. You'll get your rally number in about 2 days from now. You'll get your official rally flag and your rally number. Now, on your rally flag, I also want you to write down what track you're going on, because this will make it real easy for the scorers to see what track you're on and make sure that the code they're looking for can be found easily. They've got 340 people to go through, each one with 40. So we have about 12,000 photos we'll have to go through with this rally if everybody just does it once. More if you do it more than once, but we'll get to that in just a moment too. Go to a gas station, top up your tank, and then put the odometer on your dash into the odometer mode. Not the trip meter, not the warning, not the service due, but the odometer, okay? And hold up your gas receipt and your rally flag next to it, snap a picture. You do not have to be in this photo. And email it to scoring@irvseavergs40.com. Okay, you would have to use these codes, these unique codes for each location. So you would use the code, which would be your rally number, which is XXX, and then from there, the location that you're taking a picture of. So in this case, the start is SRT. And that's for dirt, for dual sport, or for street. And then whenever you submit it via email, put it in the subject line, just like this. So if you're number 141, you would put 141-SRT-1 for the start. And that gives the scorers a quick and easy way to find you, find the appropriate location, check you off that you did what we asked, and move on. So, and when you email the photos, do please reduce them in size. Don't send full-size photos, please. My email box will just shred. Make sure you go to large, or in some cases, medium is fine too. How to take the pictures. These are 2 good examples of how to take pictures. Gene, helmet off. Rally flag completely or nearly completely in the picture, so that way I will be able to see the number and the name, as well as if your motorcycle is requested in the picture, your motorcycle's in there, and the subject. Okay, Laura in the picture next to me, did a great job. She has, this was for one of the bonus items, to have the city limits sign. She's holding her temporary flag, and her bike is in the picture, and her entire face is in the photo. So Laura did a great job on that. You could do it in selfie mode. You could have somebody else take your picture. It really doesn't matter. And you might have to step away from your bike or the subject matter to get everything in your photo. You might have to hold your phone like this. You might have to hold your phone like this. But be clever. You'll get the hang of this pretty darn quick to do this. Here's some ways how to not take photos. Okay, and let's go look at the first photo on the left and what's wrong with it. If you're saying, hey, there's no rally flag, you're right. I need to have the rally flag showing. So this photo would not count to points. Let's go look at the second one. What's wrong with that picture? If you said, well, the motorcycle isn't really in the photo, you're actually correct. The mirrors and part of the windscreen and part of my tank bag is in the photo, but I can't really tell that that's a motorcycle. If you show if the motorcycle is required in the photo, make sure at least half to 2/3 of your motorcycle shows up in there. I understand it may not always show up in its entirety, but make sure that it's very identifiable. That's your motorcycle, not just the top of the windshield or the mirrors. Additionally, on the left side, I'm blocking out the subject matter. So I'm just, I'm there, the rally flag is there, but I can't really see what I'm taking a picture of. And off to the right, my face is completely cut off on the picture. So these two wouldn't count either. So be mindful of that. You may have to take more than one selfie if you're doing this on your own. Finally, sorry, Gene, no helmets in the picture. I have a modular as well, and I really like it, but unfortunately, I need to have the helmet off, and I know this can be an inconvenience, but and the most funny thing is your hair will look, thank you, Matt, your hair will look absolutely amazing after about 3 or 4 of these helmet removal and replacing. So I'm sure it'll be quite funny. So let's go over the rally code real quick, because a lot of people had some initial issues with this. So getting back to it again, every participant gets a unique rally ID number. It'll be printed on your rally flag and along with your name. So your rally flag will have your name and your number already on that. And that's your number for the entire rally. No matter how many times you do it, it'll be your same number. Every location has a unique identifier as well. And then most locations can be found multiple times. As I mentioned earlier, there's, many of them can be hit 2, 3, sometimes 4 times. And so for each time you hit it, make sure you indicate with a dash which number you're doing, so that way the scores can figure it out pretty quickly. Remember, make it easy for them and they'll make it easy for you. When you upload the pictures or you post the pictures, make sure you include this code or the code that's appropriate for what you're doing in the subject line or in the caption. Now, Instagram. God, I hate Instagram. But our delightful friends at BMW have a keen need to go with social. But right now, because of the election, Instagram is not our friend. They are delaying all posts by up to an hour, and they're censoring very heavily right now too. So if you go and take a picture and somebody happens to have a political slogan or whatever in the background, it might get censored. So here's what we're going to do, and I will make a public broadcast of this, but you guys are the first to get the official thing. Email your photos. That is the primary way to get your photos counted. Please email the photos. You can optionally post to Instagram. You will gain a bonus point for each location you post to Instagram, and that can add up to quite a few points at the end of your rally. But the Instagram part is optional. The email part is mandatory. If you're good with Instagram, do it. Get the points. It's fun, and you get to share it with all of your friends. But if you're not good at Instagram, totally get it too. Here's your sigh of relief. You're off the hook. Hashtags. Instagram, the only way our scorers can find the posts that you do is by these hashtags. They search for these hashtags, and all the photos that come up with those searches, that's how they find them. And so you do have to use these hashtags. A real quick shortcut is to I emailed you guys a text format of the hashtags, so that way you can put it on your phone and you can just simply copy and paste it, and that way you don't have to type it out each time. However, if you're bold and you want to type it out, it's okay. As you start to type out Irv Seaver or BMW Motorrad or 40 years of GS, it'll autocomplete because it'll see what you're trying to type. But that is really, really important, in addition to putting the rally coding in the caption. So again, your rally ID, the location code, and the instance. Once again, email is mandatory, Instagram is optional. When it's time to finish the rally, you do not have to do all 8 hours to finish it. You could finish the rally. You could just get to 40 points and call it quits, and that's okay. We're cool. You are automatically entered into the drawing for the GS and several other awesome prizes. So good on you. You did good. You went out there and tried it. But you have 8 full hours to complete it. Before the end of that 8 complete hours, take a photo of your odometer next to your rally flag, and go ahead and upload that. Email it to scoring@irvseavergs40.com, and in the subject line, put your rally ID number and finish in the subject, so that way the scores know you finished. That's actually pretty important. We'll get to, if you're in dirt or if you're in a remote location, we'll get to that in the Q&A, but there is a little bit of grace here. But for right now, try to do it within the 8-hour period. This is really, you definitely have to take the picture, but whether or not you could upload it, we'll talk about that. Step 2, that's what we were talking about earlier, where you calculate your total score on the locations sheet. This becomes also your score sheet. I highly recommend that you print at least a second copy so you can have one all marked up, and then when it comes time to actually score it, you do it on a fresh sheet, so that way it doesn't look messed up or bent or whatever the case may be. It makes it real easy for our scores to see what you did and compare it to what they did. That makes it, that makes everybody, it just makes everybody's job work really, really well. So on the, after you put the total of your score at the bottom of your score sheet, put your rally number and your name and the total miles traveled on the sheet. Just write it at the bottom. Take a photo of it and email it to scoring. That's your one universal email address, is scoring@irvseavergs40.com for everything. And then at that point, you did awesome. Have that dessert, have that awesome adult beverage, have that whatever makes you happy, go for it. You earned it, you deserve it. Some of you are going to turn around and do another one immediately after. You're awesome. But for the rest of you sane folks, enjoy that adult beverage. It's all good. Here's a couple things. You can run the rally more than once. Many people have already expressed that they want to do a street version, a dirt version, and a dual sport version. Totally fine. You could run the same track multiple times. Your cumulative score during the 3 days of the rally will add up to a prize. The total maximum, like the highest score of the rally period, will have a prize. Now, only 4 of the big prizes will go to top scorers. However, they're pretty awesome prizes. So if you're going for it, do it. You have my blessing. Go for it. Again, you can end the rally anytime. If you're not feeling good, end it. It's your safety is more important. Please do not ride if you're fatigued. Do not just call it and either start it again later or just call it a day. Again, you're still in the running for the bike as long as you have 40 points, and you could probably get that in about an hour. If you start the rally and you cut out early, you must wait till the full 8 hours of that start time finishes before you try it again. So you can't just start it, go for 2 hours, stop it, start another rally, and you can't run two tracks concurrently. It has to be one at a time and go from there. It'll drive our scores crazy any other way, and really, unless you're schizophrenic, which I don't think any of you are, but unless you are, it's just too hard to keep track of. Trust me, you'll be pushed during this rally. It is not. This will challenge you. It is a lot of fun, but it will challenge you. So here's some questions. We're going to get to the questions and answers part right now, and I'll keep it on the questions right here and answer them, and then we'll get to your questions, which I know are going to be awesome. And again, if you joined us late, in the chat section, go ahead and add the questions that you have, and I'll address them for you. So do the photos have to be selfies, or can an innocent bystander or partner or whatever take the shot for me? It doesn't matter. As long as you get the photo capturing what we need to capture, you could take it, anybody else could take it. It's totally cool. What's the minimum height to qualify as a waterfall? That's I don't like to be legalistic, so I want to emphasize the spirit of the rally, and the spirit is go after and find a waterfall. It could be man-made, it can be natural, it doesn't matter, but it can't just be a little trickle down a curb, okay? And it can't be your backyard waterfall into your pool, okay? But it could be a waterfall outside of a hotel or outside of a, an event venue or something like that. I'm going to say minimum height, kind of keep it around above 6 feet. Again, real or not, it just has to be somewhere you can access it from a public place. So go for it. It doesn't, that part doesn't matter.
I guess assuming your pipes haven't frozen over yet at those waterfalls.
Correct. And if it's frozen, that's okay too. If it's a frozen waterfall, that works too. It just can't be dry. Okay, it can't be where yeah, there should be a waterfall there, but there isn't. That won't work. Does dual timbered mean half timbered? Yes, they mean the same thing. Soda for some people, pop for another one. It's just a matter of phrasing, but yes, half timbered, dual timbered, totally fine. It doesn't have to be real. It can be painted, as long as the idea comes across. Like you may come to a themed area or like say a German restaurant that has it painted, totally fine. Have fun with it. There's a lot of places you could find this, and it's really cool. The tunnel length doesn't have to qualify as long. How long is long? And God, this is another one. I got a few gray hairs on this one over too. The exit point of the tunnel either has to be either isn't visible or it's very small in the distance. And I'm going to say at least a minimum of 50 feet. No one's going to go and take a tape measure and make sure it is 50 feet. But again, this is the spirit of the rally. And so if it's a short tunnel, find a longer one. If you're from Southern California, Angeles Crest Highway has has a series of tunnels. There's a short one and a longer one. The longer one is fine. The shorter one, no. So I think you kind of get the point. I don't want to dwell on it. National park signs. Different parks are different entrances, different signs. That's all. You could be at the same national park. You can take a sign on one entrance, go to another entrance, totally fine. Just give me a different sign. And again, remember, at least a mile apart. And I left this one in there because we got a sense of humor. Does a bottle of Newcastle ale qualify as a castle? No. However, you could find a castle. Use your imagination, because we don't really have castles in the US unless you go to Hearst Castle. And yeah, you've got one up there in Canada, but barely.
It's big. It's in Toronto. Canada.
Okay. However, this can be a bouncy castle. This can be a castle at a golf, miniature golf. This can be a themed castle. It could be Excalibur in Las Vegas. This can be any type of a castle, as long as it has a tower, it has battlements and perhaps a flag on it. We're good. If it looks like a castle, it'll qualify. If it's a hotel that kind of barely looks like a castle, we'll give it to you, because again, we don't really have castles. In Germany, you can't go more than 1 kilometer without running into a castle, but here, not so much. All right, next series of questions. These are a little more specific and on the street section. Do you need to see a physical passenger train, or can you be just in front of a train station? I need to see a train. It doesn't have to be in motion, but you do have to have a train. There's a number of ways to do this. And again, you can be clever. It can be a kid's train. It can be, as long as it's a train that's in operation and carries passengers, we're cool. But if you need to, you could, let's say it's a Metrolink. You can either find out when the train's going to be there and just time your route to be there when the train's in station. Or again, same with an Amtrak or whatever you need. But yeah, it can't be a freight train either. A freight train is for the dirt section, but for the street section, it has to be a passenger train. It could be a metro, it could be a light rail, anything that has something running on rails with passengers.
Streetcar?
Yes?
Streetcar?
Streetcar, yeah, I'll give you a streetcar.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're in San Francisco and you get me a streetcar, Yeah, I'll give you that. Or if you're in Phoenix, for example, or even Tucson has streetcars, that would work. Yeah. Do I need to see a sausage image in the sign, or is a word sausage enough? This is for the this is a fun one, and the answer is any one of those is fine. If it's a picture of a sausage, or if it actually is it says sausage, or it says Wurst, totally fine. I think German delis are a dying breed nowadays, so if you find one, we're good. Is a photo that clearly shows a city name with a bike sufficient? Yes. Do not, please do not put yourself in any dangerous situations to get a photo. It's just not worth it. If you need to find something that's close enough, we'll probably let it go, as long as you follow all the rest of the rules. So for example, our city that I live in, there isn't really that many signs along the city limits. And so ideally, you could go to City Hall and take a picture there, as long as a city name is in there. But if you can, try to get a city sign, like a welcome to or a city limit sign. But again, please don't break the law, and don't do something that might get you hurt. For the state scenic highways or byways, is a federal route or state route sign enough? I'm going to say yes, but please try to find the scenic sign. They're usually posted quite often throughout the route, and please try to get that. But if you just simply can't, just indicate that in the notes on your email, saying State Route 38 is a state scenic highway, and we'll let that go. But please opt for finding the sign that says it's a scenic road. Almost there, almost done with the prefab questions, and we're going to get to all of yours. There's a man-made waterfall again. Again, man-made or real, it's totally fine. It just needs to be running, or needs to have water in it. So, for the cobblestones, will interlocking concrete pavers work? No, unless they look like cobblestones. It could be concrete printed with cobblestones. So in other words, they're fake, but they're made to look like cobblestones. That's fine. But no, pavers wouldn't qualify for that. It would have to be either real cobblestones or something where you jiggle quite a bit when you run over it. This is for the cable car or skyway. The intent is not a sky bridge bridging two buildings together. It's actually a cable car suspended in the air, taking passengers from one location to another. Kind of like a ski lift, but not a ski lift. So if you're from SoCal, the Palm Springs aerial tramway is an excellent example. If you an amusement park ride has these where they go, like Disneyland used to have them, the Skyway, and I think that's where I get the name Skyway from. But something that takes passengers up on a cable car and deposits them somewhere else, it works. The ski lift is actually a separate location or point, so that's why the ski lift wouldn't qualify for a tramway. So that's the answer to that. For two up, this was a little hard to read, but for two up participants, can we both be in the picture and post one post? Okay, let's just level it for two up riders. Love you. We think you're great, and there's a special prize just for two up riders. Okay. Each rider is considered an individual participant. So each person needs to have their own unique photo in their circumstance. So they would have to hold up their own rally flag and be in the shot. So this is really easy if it's two up. One takes a photo, then they switch places, and the other one takes a photo and go. Do they need to be from unique Instagram or email accounts? Ideally, yes. But if it's not, as long as everything else is okay, such as the rally ID, location ID, and all that's in place, I think we'll be okay. It shouldn't trip up the scores too much. As long as you do your homework and do it correctly with the right identifier, we should be fine. But two up riders, man, we're fortunate to have you, and thank you for being a part of this. Okay, I think this is probably the last prefab question, and then we'll open it up to you guys. I'll go through the chat and then open it up for any other questions that come up. For the airport, it has to be an airport a commercial airport that you can get to Europe from. So, for example, in Orange County, California, there's John Wayne Airport. It's an international airport, but the word international is not on the sign. Does it qualify? Yes. Sky Harbor Airport doesn't say international on it either, but that qualifies too in Phoenix. So as long as it is an international airport, that's what matters. Once again, the double timbered, dual timbered, half timbered buildings, that's the one where the beamwork, the woodwork is exposed on the outside, and then they have stucco or whatever the case may be filling in the gaps. That's all the same thing. So for racetrack, does it have to say racetrack? No, as long as it is a racetrack. So it could be a raceway, it could be a speedway, it could be a circuit, it doesn't matter. As long as it is a racetrack, you're good.
Horse racing? Well, I won't lie, because I live in
Yeah.
Great question. Thank you for interjecting that. I'm going to say no. It has to be some sort of vehicle racing, but it could be a drag strip. It's totally fine. It could be a go-kart track. That's okay too. So if you have, it could be an indoor go-kart track. Totally fine. But it has to be some sort of vehicle in motion that doesn't poop. So as far as holding placards, mirrors, things like that, don't be too smart by half. Again, keep the spirit of it. You don't, I think that may have been directed toward doing the initial start one. It's real hard to, hold it up to the odometer and stick your face in there as well. Don't worry about it. But I need to see your whole face in the picture. So try to make that work. And if you're doing multiple tracks or multiple runs, can you reuse the same locations over and over? Yeah, you can. So that's okay. That's no problem. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and take it off of here, and I'm going to answer your questions. And I see some great ones coming up. So if I may, I'll go ahead and go through those pretty quickly. And then after that, if another one comes up, you can either add it, or you could chime in on this one either. Or if you need a clarification to one of my answers, go ahead and take yourself off mute and do that. Matt, thank you very much. Okay, so my wife is thinking about riding with me, but may not be able to join the entire ride. Is that a problem? No. She's going to remember, she's acting as an individual participant. And so if she cuts out early or he cuts out early, however you're doing it, that's totally fine. Just simply have the person cutting out early do the finish and calculate up their score and submit it as an individual. 2-ups, again, we love you, but consider yourself an individual rider on this one. Can multiple, I don't know what that means. Huh? Oh, bonus points be obtained at a single location. I don't know if that's what it means. You may have to, if you're still on and you want to clarify that for me.
Hey, Paul, that's you.
I'm sorry?
That's
Okay.
Paul's question, but I think you answered the question where you have to be a mile apart for the bonuses.
Per track, yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're doing multiple, if it's on the current track, let's say you're doing the street track right now, and you want to do, but let's say there's multiple things happening at that one location. Suppose you have a train and and something else there, that like a castle across the street. Totally fine. It's just you can't get another train unless it's a mile away, if that makes sense. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so multiple bonuses can be got from one location. Let's say I've got Sausage Castle. I can get Sausage and Castle.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can. Yeah, that works.
But I can't get Castle twice.
Not within. Yeah, that's correct.
Jim, to make it easy on your scoring people, would you suggest we submit that photo twice with 2 different score tags, or the same, or 2 score tags in the same subject line? Well, I would like
2 separate emails with two unique, each one, make it super easy on them. In fact, I would recommend you use a slightly different picture, maybe take a different angle of it, whatever the case may be, but make it kind of obvious that there's a second picture going on there. The scorers are awesome people. They're fantastic. They're students at university. They're really pumped up about this, but let's make it easy on them. So do the windmills need to be working? No, they don't. Many windmills don't. And can they be miniature golf windmills? Yeah, totally. They could be, they don't have to be, they could be the electrical ones, the big ones. They could be, if you're familiar with Anderson's pea soup, if it's one of those, that's totally fine. It's as long as it's a windmill, we're good. It could be, if you're on the dirt section, it could be one of those windmills that powers a water pump that sends the water up to a tank. Totally fine. A windmill's a windmill. Give me a windmill, we're good. Do we need our face, motorcycle, rally flag, and the object all in the same picture? It's a lot to balance. Yes, it is. However, it's not as hard as you think once you do it a couple times. So that's why we have the bonus runs. So you could practice a little bit, and they're really easy to get. So try it out. Usually I find that if I hold the rally tag right up against my chest, do the selfie, and stand away from my bike in the subject area, I could get everything in frame pretty easily. So work on it, try it. I think you'll find it's easier than it sounds. Emailing photos. Can we name the photo with the proper coding and send a single email with all the photos? No. Each photo needs to have a separate email. Otherwise, it's going to drive our scores crazy. So please do it separately. Yeah. I've submitted 2 photos so far. How do I know that you have counted them? If they're on Instagram, well, at this point, the scores haven't actually come on board. They start on Friday. However, on Instagram, I will have marked it with a like I click the heart button and go from there. So if you see one coming from Irv Seaver GS40, then it has been seen and it will be counted. If you don't, go ahead and email it too. It's okay. You have all the time in the world, and go ahead and email it anyway, just to make sure it gets to the right place. But however, the bonus points, the bonus point for going to Instagram will count on the extracurricular, the bonus, the 3 bonus items that you could do before the rally actually starts. Does the start photo need to be emailed, or is Instagram okay? It needs to be emailed, please. You can also post it on Instagram, and that's fine, and earn an extra bonus point. But it doesn't. Everything needs to be emailed. That's the primary way going forward. Can non-BMW motorcycle owners participate? Absolutely, Fez. In fact, that's right now it looks like about half of the participants aren't actually riding BMW motorcycles. And when I told this to BMW, they were loving it. To them, you're a conquest, so at the end of the day, totally fine. Yeah, ride the bike that you could do 8 hours with. No problem whatsoever. So the bike does not matter. Ride what makes you happy.
Can we swap bikes?
That's a good question. No, for the one track, you could do it on a second track. Let's say you want to run it a second time and you want to do it on a different bike, no problem. But once you start the track with one bike, it has to finish with that bike, because otherwise you'll drive the scores crazy. They're not going to know what's going on. So you have to stick with the same bike. No matter how many times you do it, does this mean I could do an 8-hour relay on Saturday, a Sunday? Jessica, each track will be scored separately, and you as a participant will have a total number of points for all the times you run it. And there is a prize, a good one, for the total score over that 3-day weekend. So if you want to go and do that, don't feel the compulsion to do it. But if you're driven like that and want to make 2020 count for something positive, good on you, do it. And yes, there is a prize for the total highest score for the entire rally. But most of the other prizes are based on the actual highest score per track or some of them are, there's some prizes for the highest mileage in street, highest mileage in dirt, and several of the big prizes, including the G310GS, is to anybody who gets over 40 points. It's just at that point, it's a random drawing. Once you get over 40, you're automatically entered. You don't have to do anything. You're good to go. If you're riding 2-up, can you run the rally on Saturday, for example, single, and 2-up on Sunday? Absolutely, Kristen, no problem at all. Again, since each rider, the rider and passenger, are considered individual participants, it's totally fine. So each one has to submit a separate scorecard too, but the benefit of that is each of you get a shot at the G310GS and the other drawing-based prizes that are going to be out there. And they're good ones. We got some great ones. We got I'll go over the prizes in a second, but man, I'm a little jealous. I actually want some of them myself. So, you know, but they're fantastic prizes. Is backwards writing in selfies okay? Yeah, it is. Try to fix it on your phone though, if you can. It's a setting. But if the writing is backwards, I think we're okay. Can we get multiple items in one location? Yes. If you're riding 2-up, do you need to take separate pictures of the rider and passenger? Yes. If you're doing a group, this is a question that was asked multiple times. If you're riding in a group, no problem. Initially in the instructions, I said you won't get as many points, and I think that was mistakenly interpreted to say there's a penalty, and no, there isn't. But just, you know, imagine this, that if you're in a group of 10 riders, all 10 of you have to get a photograph, all 10 of you have to upload, and it's going to slow you way down. Now, it'll be a lot of fun, but you're not going to get that many points. Maybe that's not important, and that's okay too. But ideally, the ones who get the highest points are the ones who go solo or with one other comparable rider. And the 2-up people can make some fantastic time on this one, because like zip, point, you know, shoot with the pictures and go on, and you could do really well with that. State parks are totally fine. It doesn't have to be a national park. A state park is totally fine for the national parks part of it. I'm not familiar with Instagram, so I have a question. I posted the photo of Irv Seaver, but it never showed up. I tried to post the photo from the sign. Yeah, the hashtags is what gets you Walt, and we could talk offline on this one. But as I mentioned, you don't need to post the impetus to post on Instagram just diminished because Instagram can't keep up with us. You can you know, email it if you want to try it on Instagram too for the bonus point. Go for it. And Walt, you and I offline will try to work out Instagram, but don't beat yourself up over it. It's nice, but it's great if you do it. I mean, if you're good with Instagram, please do the Instagram. BMW would love that. They're paying for all this. But if you're not, and it stresses you out, don't stress out over it. It's not worth it. Does a brick road count as cobblestone road? No. It has to be rounded bumps. It could be rounded bricks, but it has to be rounded cobble type stones. It could be, now if you're in Europe, the cobblestones are squarish rocks with hard edges. That's fine too, but it has to be either the appearance of cobblestones or cobblestones. I think I went over the dual timbered house a few times. So the Crown, could you score a dual timbered house on King Street? Absolutely. That you just do it as 2 separate pictures. Move so that way the photo looks a little different from each one, and you're good. Yeah. On the Crown or the Royalty Street, there's a small little town in Arizona near Prescott called Crown King, and that was the motivation for it. But yeah, that, you know, anything with Crown, Princess, Prince, whatever, go for it. How do you know that we are riding 2-up? Where do we indicate that? It's actually not that important that we know that you're riding 2-up. It's nice if you want to take a picture and say hi to the scores, but it's not that important. What's important is that each one does it and individually. Given the abundance of ski lifts in Florida, would a chairlift qualify? Yes. Be creative, be clever. Keep the spirit of the rally. It's okay to bend it a little bit, but don't break it. Don't outright break it. Is the 1 mile requirement between pictures road miles or air miles? Nautical miles for you, Lisa, but for everybody else, road miles. Some areas have mask requirements and travel restrictions. Can a mask be in the photo? I'm going to ask, when you need to take a picture, just boop, boop, and put it back on again if you're in one of those locations. If you're in like, for example, the gingerbread house is probably going to be indoors at a Christmas mart. Or, and just be discreet, kind of go in a way, be safe about it so nobody else is around, and boop, boop, and try to do it quick.
Hey, Jim, I'm the one who asked that question.
I'm sorry? Yeah.
I'm the one who asked that question.
Okay.
There are fines associated in some towns, depending where you're at. And that would remove some of the possible locations to get photos at.
Don't do anything illegal. Don't do anything that'll get you a fine. Try not to get pulled over by the police, and try not, don't wind up in jail. That's not the intent of the rally. So either find a different town or try to come up with it a different way. If you know what, if you're indoors and it's a place that does not that you don't need to have the motorcycle, it's fine if you're wearing a mask. But so right now, right then and there, you're fine wearing a mask if you have to, but try not to. If you could pull it down quickly, please do it that way. If you can't fit the motorcycle in a picture like a windmill in a mini golf course, I don't think the windmill needs. You may have to find a different place to take a picture, but sometimes you could park it next to a fence and step away from the fence, even 10, 15 feet. As long as the scorers can see a windmill and your motorcycle and you're facing the rally flag, you're good. So you may have to be clever about that one. For example, here's a spirit here of the rally. If you're in Southern California, or if you've been to Disneyland, we have 2 mountain peaks at Disneyland. We have Matterhorn Mountain and Space Mountain. There's actually a few more. There's Thunder Mountain and there's Splash Mountain, but both of those are difficult to see from outside of the park. However, there's a freeway overpass that you could stop and take a picture. And there's also an employee entrance gate that you could use to take a picture if you had to. Now, I know you guys are scribbling real quick, Disneyland. Yeah, you could be clever, but keep the spirit of it. All right, I'm going to move quickly. I'm being prodded to hurry it up. So we only need one email, first and last photo. Scott, I don't understand your question. I think it's an answer to somebody, but try to, if the motorcycle is required, you need to have the motorcycle in there. If the motorcycle is not required, you don't.
Hey, Jim,
okay, if you're doing Instagram, you have to do email. Instagram is optional. So if you want the bonus point, go for Instagram, but it has to be emailed. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Can I get more entries by scoring? Do you get more entries by scoring more points? I don't know what that means. Group equals herding cats? Yes. Do we have to upload as we go along? Preferably yes. Now, some of you guys are going to do the dirt track in an area without cell reception. Try to time your route so you could get into a location with that, or try to make it so you finish your route where you have mobile reception. If you're doing dirt or dual sport, you can you have a grace period of 1 hour to finish up and get everything uploaded. Not for the street, because that's too easy, but for everybody else, you do have a grace. Try not to use it unless you really have to. Try to get it done beforehand. But if you have to upload 3 or 4 at a time or 5 at a time, that's fine. That's totally okay. Do you have Do you have the hashtags in the email too? No, you don't need to put the hashtags in the email. It's only for Instagram. If we're writing in a group, can we use a group pic? Or do we need individual pics? Individual pics, sorry. 40th edition GSA is not here yet from Irv Seaver and don't have another motorcycle. Is there another way to participate? Yes. You could rent a bike from, or you could borrow a bike from a friend. You could rent a bike from Eagle Rider. You can, there are options in that regard. It doesn't have to be your bike. Or you could ride as a passenger with somebody else if you trust them. That's, there may even be some volunteers here. While you're doing we're doing the journey on 2 bikes. Do we need to provide separate pictures for each? Yes. But it should be real fast. If you're doing 2, one person will take the photo of the other person will take a photo of you, bang, bang, upload it, go on your merry way. It's actually faster. Groups of 2 or 2 up actually have the time advantage. You mentioned a price for 2 up. Thus, how do you know who is riding 2 up? We'll know. We will know. Actually, why don't you write 2 up on your scorecard if you want to make sure.
Jim?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. It's Nicola.
Hi.
My tunnels are all big. Hi. My tunnels are all big freeway tunnels. I'm not crazy about stopping near there. Is there a way around that? Think about that. I'll unmute now.
Great question. Don't stop on the freeway unless you have a real wide shoulder. You may need to. You may have to be clever and find a different tunnel, maybe on a side street or a mountain road or something like that. But it does need to be. It could be an artificial tunnel, but it has to be a tunnel. Well, they're all artificial. What am I saying? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Did you? This is Linda.
Hey, Linda.
Did you skip my question about if a location isn't open to traffic, or did I just space out on that?
I may have skipped it. I'm trying to get everybody's in. If a location is not open to traffic and the motorcycle is required, you're going to have to find a different example.
Well, what I'm saying is, if you can be adjacent to, say, the stone bridge, but
that's fine.
You can't
go. That's fine. I need the bridge in the picture. That's all.
Okay, but you can be adjacent to something. It doesn't have to be open.
Right. Yeah. One of them, like for the dirt track, is an abandoned bridge where it's blocked off. You can't be on that. It's gated and blocked. So yeah, adjacent is fine. I just need the spirit. I just need the bridge in the picture.
Got it.
There are some dirt requirements that say that the bike has to be in certain things. Like for the dirt section, the bike has to be in water. That the bike has to be in water or whatever. But that's specific for that. MotoQuest, Hertz Ride, they also rent bikes. So there are some rental options available. For 2 up, each one gets their own ID number. Yes, they do. I don't know that I could still register my wife. Talk to me and I will manually register. Email me all of her information. I'll make sure that she gets on board and that you're good. Master of Doom, who is that? Master of Doom, who are you?
That's me.
Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you. That's a great handle, by the way. But yeah, just email me her information, name, address, phone number, email address. I'll get her registered. Do the waiver off the website. Have her do the waiver, and it'll be no problem. We'll make sure she has a unique rally ID.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Beginning rally photo and ending rally photo must be emailed. All others can go to Instagram. Yes, they can go to Instagram, but they also have to be emailed. Email is a primary, Instagram is a bonus. Drone photos frowned upon. If you want to set up a drone, more power to you. It's going to take a long time. You won't get very many points, but hey, you know what? They're going to look awesome. So Henry, if you want to run drones, have at it. It's all good.
Jim, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I've seen this question a couple of times and I ask it too. Is it just the three letter code that you put in, or do you have to have the item number before that? From
the way it works is the three digit rally ID number, your specific rally ID number, and then a dash, and then the actual location code. Just like SRT or
just
whatever.
The letter, okay.
Just the letters, and then a dash for the occurrence.
Right. Okay, got it.
So that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the item number's not included
The item numbers just kind of show you which one's what,
on the
and to
spreadsheet.
tell you that there's
Yeah.
40. Yeah, but it's not relevant.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. Any other questions, please?
All right, so real quick on the, sorry about my clock. We're talking about the ferry.
Yes.
In your notes, you've got must carry cars and people,
Yes.
or people and cars. If we have just a person ferry,
That's fine.
just people is fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Uh,
Go ahead.
For the film location,
Yes.
are you looking for a marker that says the film was
No.
there, or is it any film location as long as we know what it is?
As long as you know what it is, you don't, and it's a modern enough or major enough film that somebody could say, yeah, that's it. So, many film sites, it could be a studio and that's totally fine too. But if most cities had a major film in there. So let me give you, for example, in Whittier, in Southern California, there's East Whittier High School. That's where Back to the Future was filmed. That was the high school they used. So take a picture in front of that, and then just simply say high school used in Back to the Future movies in the description of the email, and that will be it. Or just list the movie that it's from. I know Tucson, Arizona had a Mick Jagger film, Billy Jack. Phoenix has had plenty of films. There's most every major city has had some sort of film or TV show take place there. And so just mention what it is. It can't be too minor. It can't be, Howdy Doody did an episode here, from 60 years ago. No one's going to know what that is. So make it kind of easy.
Come on now.
Well, there's some of them that are so old that some of you weren't alive when they were filmed, but we remember them. Us old folk do.
That's fine, but you remember the scorers are university students, so make it kind of relevant and kind of modern if you don't.
Well,
Well,
no,
they
they
should
can
know
look it up
everything.
on
Texas
Google
Chainsaw
then.
Massacre House, totally fine. Yes, just
No,
indicate that.
no.
Yeah,
There's some
totally fine.
classics ones out there that we need
Yeah.
to do.
Okay. The next one is the ghost town. What are you looking for in the ghost town? Because, there are a lot of ghost towns in San Diego County that there's nothing there anymore. It's an open field.
It has to have structures. The
So-
structures can be walls without the roofs, but there has to be some visible structure, not a ghost town site, but actual structures. So I'm looking for, it could be Columbia, it could be Calico, ghost town, it could be whatever, but it needs to be some sort of, could be Bodie, could be whatever. Yeah.
Right. So let's take Calico, for example.
Yeah.
Just the sign, the entrance sign would be good. Or are
That
you
would
looking
work.
for? Okay.
But
All
if
right.
it's a real ghost town, like for example, in Arizona, you can't go too far without hitting one. Just take a picture. It just has to be multiple structures or evidence of multiple structures.
And you're looking for a completely unoccupied town, not something like Randsburg.
It mostly unoccupied town. There may be a caretaker that lives on site, totally fine. It could be a film site. But there aren't too many of those you're going to find. So, but yeah, mostly unoccupied. Yeah. In other words, it's not an operational town anymore.
Okay.
It could be Chernobyl. That's fine too.
Good luck getting there. But
I have a question about the beginning.
Yes.
I know you have to take your odometer, you have to take the gas receipt, you have to have your flag, but is your face also supposed to be there?
No, you don't. For the beginning and the end shot with the odometer, you do not need to be in the photo.
Great. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah.
Well, let's revisit the mirror question about getting clever, right? So you said be clever and imaginative about that. So the mirror, not just for the face, but for example, a German restaurant. If I'm going to a German restaurant and they have a depiction of people in lederhosen on the door or near the door,
Stand next
which
to it.
really wouldn't be visible, I couldn't get the bike in there unless.
I think the bike is a bonus option. You don't need to have the bike in for that one. So for example, if there's a cutout where you stick your face through, and there's people in lederhosen, that's totally fine.
But yeah,
if
that
you
was just an
happen to be-
example, but there could be another example, like for a crown sign, right? So I'm going for a crown sign. You can't get a picture of the crown sign without, placing the bike behind yourself. Would a
That's
mirror
okay.
of the
Just
bike
just
be
put it
okay?
in selfie mode and you could do it. Generally, okay, if you can make it work, go ahead. But as long as you meet the requirements of seeing your face, the rally flag, the subject, and the bike, if it's asked for, we're good. If you could pull it off, more power to you.
Okay.
If you're going to travel around with a 6-foot mirror, I want a picture of that. Okay.
Well, we have
Cool.
some pretty clever mirror setups. So
Okay, whatever works. As long as you meet those requirements, we're cool. Any others? Is it too late to register? Email me. Let's talk offline, and I will. Let's see what we could do to make it happen. Yes, if you email me at my email address, put the name, address, phone number, and email address, and then ask them to go to the website, to the waiver section, fill that out and submit it. No problem. We'll get them in and I'll get them their package. Rally t-shirts, do we have any left? We're out of extra large and double XL for men's. Sorry, those were the first to go. We've been sitting at home for a long time, so a lot of us got bigger than we thought. So that being said, are there others available? Yes. However, there are still quite a few people that need to pick up their swag bags at the dealership who opted to will call them. So I need to give them the first shot. Once the rally is over, I'll go ahead and offer them and make them available to you. So yeah. Unfortunately, they're not available for swag bags or for free any longer. So, Laura, you're welcome. Any other questions that I can answer while we're here?
Okay, with a dam or lake or reservoir.
I'm not going to Manzanita. All right.
Would like a lock, like a boat lock?
Totally fine.
Sky.
It just can't be a pan. It can't be a pond, a small little thing.
Oh,
Scott, you had a question?
The only reason I say that is because he was at work for he came late. I'm going to shower.
Okay. Scott, do you have a question for me?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't know I was on speaker. Just the email for scoring. I didn't quite get it.
Yes, it's going to be in the email that I sent you for the package, but it's scoring at irvseavergs40.com. I will email that to you again. And on your rally flag itself, even on your temporary rally flag, it's in the lower right-hand corner. I put the hashtags and the email address to send it to. I also put the how to do the codes for the location and all that in there as well. So it's going to be on the real rally flag as well in the lower right-hand corner, but it's scoring at irvseavergs40.com.
Okay, yeah, I got it. Great. Thank you.
Of course, my pleasure. Any other awesome questions?
One more question on the sister city.
Yes.
Are you looking for a sign for that city or the actual sister city sign?
Great question, and I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you asked that. I want the sister city sign that says, now, in many cases, it may not be publicly displayed. This is what you could do, and this is what some clever people have already done. They called the sister city, club and said, hey, I'm doing this rally. I need to take a picture of the sign. Is it possible to get a copy, get the sign out by my bike so I could take a picture? They were ecstatic. They were thrilled to come out there, have one of their guys, come out, hold out the sign and take a picture with you. So be clever with it. Some cities like Los Angeles by City Hall has that huge post that has the sister city. Other cities like Cincinnati, for example, don't. And so try to find it. If you're looking for the link, if I could send, I'll email everybody a couple hints of where to find cities that have German names in them. So, where's Berlin, there's a Berlin, California. I don't even know. But there's a link that I could show you all the cities that have German equivalent names in the United States. Also, though, on the Department of State website for the German consulate, they also have a list of all the sister cities with Germany. And so I'll email that link to you as well very soon. So probably tomorrow, just to help you guys along with that. But, it should be pretty easy. Yes, ma'am.
It'll sound silly. So do dirt locations have to be on dirt? I know
Yes.
that's
Your bike, great question. Your wheels and side stand have to be off asphalt or concrete. It could be on hard pack gravel. It could be on dirt. It could be on water. It could be on snow. I don't care. It just can't be on asphalt or concrete. If you bring a bucket of dirt with you, put 3 piles down, roll your bike onto it, and take a picture, that will count. You'll be laughed at very, very, very heavily, but yes, it would count. So, for example, the welcome to a state limit sign, if it's off of an interstate, if you pull off a little further, usually you have a shoulder where you could go off and put your bike into the dirt. There's no requirement that it has to be a certain distance away from the road.
okay.
I mentioned German origin.
That's
Can the German name be of a person of German origin? Jimmy, the answer is yes, it can. One example actually is, another example is Anaheim, where Disneyland is located and the Angels are. And Google is your friend, Stephanie, you're correct. Anaheim is named after the Santa Ana River, Anna, and Heim, which means home. So that's actually a German name, even though there's no city of Anaheim in Germany. That would count. This is one where there's a lot of grace on this one. So Google is your friend, and again, I'll be emailing you a link for that.
Carlsbad?
Carlsbad actually is a German. There's no, that wouldn't count. Good one though. Yeah, that's a little. I would probably let that slide.
Oh.
Well,
but
if you're gonna let Anaheim slide, you got to let
I
Carlsbad
probably would
slide.
let Carlsbad slide. Yes, I probably would. Though I would hope that you'd be a little more clever. But if that's what you got, I'll go with it. Yeah, I'll do it.
I looked up the site that he had said that the German names. Amazon, there's a bunch. The next close.
Good. Yeah, there's a plenty of them. Every single state has plenty of German names in there. Any other questions? This is your chance to shine.
So the more points you tally, the more entries you get into a motorcycle raffle?
No. There are a bunch of prizes. And Dennis, it's a great question you have. One of the prizes is for total number of points for the duration of the rally. But that's only one prize. There is a total number of points for a single track. That's one prize too. But many of the other prizes have nothing to do with the prize score. So only one of them has to do with combining all the tracks that you do into one. But hopefully that answers your question. Scott?
So the entry is one per person basically for the motorcycle rally? For the raffle?
You can enter multiple times, but they can't be concurrent. Like, in other words, you could do it over and over again if you wish. So you could do one track for 8 hours, and then 8 hours later, after that 8 hours, do another one. And that's fine. You could do dirt, I think you could probably physically do it 9 times or, within the rally period. You're crazy, but you could. So you could do dirt, one day, street one day, and dual sport the next day. Totally fine. So
and that would give you one entry per run.
No, during each run, you'll accumulate points based on each location. Each location has a point value to it. And at the end, it gets tallied up. Oh, each time you run it, each time you run the rally, you do get entered to win the G310 GS. That is correct.
So
if you run the track, I'm sorry?
40 or 100 points, that gives you single entry.
Yes, at least 40 points, but you can't just go 40 points, stop, start it again. You have to wait 8 complete hours before you start it again.
Okay.
Any other questions by this awesome crew? My valiant crew. Guys, thank you very, very much. How many registered riders, Scott? The total number is 340. How do the routes work if you run street once, dirt once, sport once? Does that, Scott M, on your rally flag, you're probably going to need to print multiple rally flags, and at the bottom of each one, mark down which track you're on. So if you do three runs of at least 40 points, you'll have 3 entries into the raffle. Yes, that's correct.
One question.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to clarify on the number of times, that's find a location. If it says 3, I can take 3 separate pictures of it a mile apart for each picture.
Yes. So
Okay.
you can have a tunnel here and, you know, maybe 3 miles away, there's another tunnel, totally fine.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, that was a purpose, to find multiple instances of that location.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. You guys are awesome. If any questions come up between now and then, please feel free to email me. You could also text me, whatever the case may be. I'm here to make sure that you have a great experience and that you have a tremendous amount of fun. That's the whole point of all of this. The whole point of riding motorcycles is to have fun. And so that's the spirit we're doing this in. Don't stress out over anything. Please don't do anything dangerous. Please don't get arrested. Please don't wind up in jail. Please have a good time. Please have fun. Can you get like 1,000 points? Yes. Actually, great question, Scott. Real quick, the street and dirt portions have a maximum score of 1,240 each, not counting the bonus options. The dual sport has 1,425 points total. It's a little harder to do that one, so you have more options. You have a little bit more of an opportunity to make more points. But yes, each track has at least has over 1,000 points available to you. Guys, thank you so much. Any additional questions, email me. I'll make sure I answer you. And again, be on the lookout for those links that have those German sister cities, as well as cities named that have German counterparts back in Germany. Thank you very much. It's just a delight to meet all of you guys this way, and I just can't wait to see the photos you guys come up with. I'm really excited. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be posting this video online, so if somebody didn't get it, I'll make sure that they can see it as well. But have a great night, be safe, and take care.
Thanks.
You got
Thank
it.
you.
Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Bye.
Anytime.